The Central Bank of Nigeria has been urged to limit its foreign exchange interventions in the currency market and allow commercial banks to fix the naira to dollar rates freely to address the highly volatile exchange rate of the naira to the dollar, which is caused by the Forex liquidity problem in the country. The national lending organization, the International Monetary Fund, advised the Central Bank of Nigeria to allow commercial banks to determine the rates and not the central bank. The IMF pointed out that implementing the suggestions would go a long way to strengthen the local currency against its foreign peers at the market and boost investors' confidence. To help us look at the impact that this suggestion will have in the long run, we have Mukhtar Mohammed, financial analyst and CEO of Finance with Mukhtar. Good morning, Mukhtar. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling. What do you make of those recommendations made by the IMF?
I think is global best practice. There's nothing new about what the IMF is saying. It's what is obtained in other economy, both developing and developed economy. You don't even need to go to Benin or even Ghana, and you see that nobody stays on the road and begin to put calculator to you and say this is the exchange rate. You walk into the bank fixes the exchange rate by and by what has been fixed on the CBN website. So it's not rocket science. It's not something new they are suggesting. It's going to be new for Nigeria, because we are not used to it, but that's how it is done globally.
All right. But if it's done globally, then why are we not practicing this global practice here in Nigeria?
Because of bureaucracy, because of political will. Didn't used to have bureau change in the 80s.
Hello? Are you with us?
Yeah.
Yes, please continue. Please continue.
Challenges.
Please continue. We missed that bit. You said we didn't used to have the bureau change in the 80s.
The government and the CBN give them money in it, and so, but it has not worked.
Okay.
Because
I can hear you. Please continue.
I said,
I think we've lost him for a minute. It was explaining that that's a global best practice. But we'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive into the conversation proper. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Mukhtar Mohammed, a financial analyst and CEO of Finance with Mukhtar. He was explaining to us that having the banks fix the FX rate is best with global practices, but somehow in Nigeria this is not happening. So I'll let you continue on the thought you were making, Mukhtar. So please land on that.
Yeah, what I said, and that's a global best practice is obtained all over the world, and Nigeria started this was introduced in Nigeria by President Ibrahim Babangida, just to address the FX challenges at that time. And at that time, there was this talk that banks were involved in a lot of shady deals. So they needed to come in with some with direct means whereby CBN will be able to monitor them. But unfortunately, CBN has not been able to monitor them. We moved from an bureau change of about 15, we moved to 100, and at the time the CBN revoked their license, there were more than 1,000 bureau change in Nigeria. So that shows you it was a business that was being formed by round tipping, involving a lot of corruption. So it has not over well for us. So that because of the corrupt tendency, going back to your question, why do we have to do that if we know this is a global best practice? Because a lot of people benefit from it.
Well, I have here a quote from the IMF from the source document. It says, in the medium term, the CBN should step back from its role as main FX intermediator, limiting interventions to smoothen market volatility and allowing banks to freely determine FX buy-sell rates. What do you think of this? If the central bank leaves its role as the mediator, wouldn't there be like a clash?
No, it will be good because most of these banks have, like I said, most of these banks have offshore currency that are stored in dollars. That could also address the liquidity challenges in terms of the supply side, and that could bring down the rate. Also, remember that saying that the bank should determine the exchange rate doesn't mean that CBN will not still have a hand in it. But what you're saying that CBN will not be the sole provider of FX into the market, that will help drive liquidity. And again, CBN will be forced to will definitely intervene in the market when they think that the exchange rate, the price between the naira and the dollar is not adequately fixed. They will intervene in the market to bring down to correct the rate. So I think it's a good thing if the CBN will able to. I mean, if the CBN listen to the World Bank, I think it will be good for our economy, it will be good for the banking sector, and I think that's the right way to go to address the liquidity. What we're having, the challenge that we're having now, is because the bureau de change has a particular market space that they used to satisfy, that they used to serve. Since their license was revoked, people that usually patronize the bureau de change, no more. That market was not created for them to access FX, so they have to access FX through the banking space, and the banking space is not available. Even if you're a manufacturer, time is what is your key in your business. We go to fill from M, then you have to queue before you get. So all the things did not help. So if the CBN is able to create a market for the people that you normally should have been playing the bureau de change space, that would drive down rates and that will increase liquidity in the system.
Yeah. Looking at this, why didn't they look at this approach earlier? Why did they allow for this bureau de change system to take root before snatching them out?
Like the song that in a Nigerian song, say, if you ask me now, I will go ask now. So the CBN, I don't know why they didn't do that. But like I said, it's all because of a lot of people were benefiting from it. There came a time that most of those working in CBN also became owners of bureau de change.
Yes.
Some of them, once they retired, they begin to play the bureau de change space also, because they saw that it was an easy way of getting money. And why did the CBN clamp down on them? It was because they were just collecting this money and they were not even using it as agreed with the CBN, which says that you collect at 360 at that time. You are not supposed to sell more than 360 to 364. They went as far as selling up to 500. So that's why the CBN got upset and revoked their licenses. Yeah,
now comes in the bank. What are some of the impacts that allowing banks? What do you think are the impacts that will feel if the federal government takes this proposal from the IMF mission? If they look into it and say, okay, we are giving the banks free rein now to fix FX rates, what do you make of this?
Well, it's not going to be the federal government that's going to be the CBN that should do that.
The CBN, sorry.
Because they are the one in charge of monitoring policies. But how would that impact? Like I said, it will drive liquidity into the system. Why we are seeing this volatility in the exchange rate is just because of lack of liquidity. So once liquidity challenges are addressed, the exchange rate will definitely come down, because the demand of the economic term of demand and supply will come to play. And again, secondly, if you have bank leaders, we will also improve bank bottom line and to their shareholders, and the bank will maybe have to employ more people also that will handle that aspect of their business, and we could go more for easy monitoring, like what they do in terms of basic traveling allowance. Now they will make it digital and it will be easier for people to access, people to buy, and they know who is buying, what is buying for. Because presently now what we see that a lot of funds that a lot of funds that comes into Nigeria, maybe it's applied through exchange from naira to dollar or from dollar to naira, are not being accounted for. And some of these funds are being traded by terrorists, by bandits, or by other criminal elements.
Okay, that's a very nice one. Now, one thing again that I've noticed is that the IMF has always hammered that we should collapse our multiple exchange rate regime into one. Why is this one of the things he has been hammering, and why is it that the central bank has not still been able to achieve this?
When you say collapse your monetary exchange rate into one, you must have liquidity. No central bank will just allow its currency to float. You understand?
Yes.
So definitely the CBN is not ready for this because they want to be able to control the rate, because if you leave it out for them, then we may have gotten, you just look at the parallel market that we have left to float and look at where it has gone to. So I think tactically, once their supply side begins to improve, I believe that the CBN will do the needful by occasionally intervening in the market. No central bank that does not intervene in the market occasionally. I mean, in the US, in the Chinese, all of them, they intervene in the market occasionally to stable the rate.
But why is it that they've still not allowed it? Because it's for the IMF to make this approach, it's something that must be lucrative.
Well, when it comes to IMF approach, it's not all IMF approach that are lucrative, because we need to build our own inbuilt economic system to survive. But I think this one is a good proposal. But I think the one major challenge that has made it not to be implementable, number one, I told you about, a lot of people benefit from having brewed change, and then secondly, the demand aspect, the supply aspect of CBN was not able to meet it, and up to this moment, I don't think they will be able to meet liquidity, because despite oil price being on a high, return to the treasury has not been commensurate with that, because what we gain in crude oil price, we lose in payment of
subsidies. Well, let me now take you now. Yes, the central bank and President Muhammadu Buhari, they unveiled the local currency. What do you say to that?
Good thing. Depending on which phase you are, good thing to the point that our currency, in terms of the security features that we made, it will not be easy for them to be counterfeit any longer. But again, it's not your currency design that makes your currency have values. Value is driven by economic indices, and so for me, we have a good currency now in terms of meeting international parties, in terms of the future that are there, especially security-wise. Then we need to move up and make sure that the currency begins to improve the purchasing power of the Nigerians. The rebranding will not improve your purchasing power. Your purchasing power is improved when your economy improves. How much standard naira the exchange to other currencies, that what gives your currency value. I think that's what we should work on.
Well, that's a good one. They say we should also look at that the move to redesign the naira may have the effect of reducing speculative attacks on the naira in the parallel market, especially. How so?
Yeah, I think I agree with that totally, because most of the naira that are driving the dollar up are not found in the banking space. So once you have those back into the banking space, then definitely the CBN will be able to use one of their key tools in reducing inflation and controlling rising effects by mopping up liquidity in the system. And again, like I said, most of those funds that are driving the dollar high are not in the banking space. So more, and those funds were gotten some through a lot of criminal tendencies. So definitely it will help in the long run, but not in the short term. In the short term, we could see volatility in terms of rate going up. We saw that coming down some weeks ago, but that was due to fear and speculation. It was driven up by speculation. It was brought down by fear and greed, and that's why they fear at that time that rumors came that the United States will also be looking at printing new currencies for 2023.
Yes.
So that also induced fear in those people that were holding the dollar. So they have to make a lot of supply in the market, and we saw that this rate came down.
Well, and that's a nice one. Now, let's have your final thoughts regarding this, the IMF stance.
I find out as regard what?
As regarding the IMF stance on towards the exchange rate and
No, I think it's a good stance. I hope we could also improve upon it and make it to suit our own system. I think that every bank, like what is obtained all over the world, should have a rule change, an FX sector whereby people just come in and exchange their currency. I think it's a good thing to do.
Well, thank you very much for your insight into this. We were speaking with Mukhtar Mohammed, the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar. Thank you very much for appearing on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Still to come after the break. Brent crude futures at slid 43 cents or 0.5% to $84.98 a barrel, while the United States West Texas Intermediate futures dropped 35 cents or 0.5% to $77.59 a barrel. We shall be looking at this when we come back from the break.